The City of Lima's government operations consists of a team of 400 plus individuals, all public servants, all working together to make Lima, Ohio a great place to live, work, and play. So many of the daily tasks of city workers go on behind the scenes, but today you're gonna get a sneak peek of what local government looks like. What a great way to start our behind-the-scenes project by spending the day with the Lima Police Department. These men and women work extremely hard day and night to keep our community safe. So we'll start with the conversation with Lima Police Chief Angel Cortez.
Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Welcome.
First, I want to thank you for taking time out of what I know is a very busy day to talk to me more about policing. Tell us a little bit about how technology has enhanced the work of police officers and how this department is using technology today.
As the years have gone on and technology has gotten better, we have embraced that. We went to body cams. We have tasers as a less than lethal force option. We have the technology in the radio room, our in-car video system, and there's a lot of things out there that we want to bring into the police department, but we have to be cognizant of the cost and the benefit and whether or not it's worth the investment.
We're also using technology out in neighborhoods. Tell us a little bit about those devices.
3 of the newest technologies that we brought to the police department are all camera-based. One of them is the speed trailers. And you would think that the speed trailer is just picks up the speed and that's it, but the trailers have many capabilities. It can photograph the cars, it picks up the speed. We can display signs on there that say construction zone or event or anything like that, and we can move these anywhere we want to. And with that, we'll put it in the neighborhood, we'll leave it there for 2 weeks, we get the printouts, we'll see what the speeds are, then we decide whether or not it needs a follow-up enforcement. Scout is full of technology. It has the cameras that we can just monitor wherever we put it. We got 360 view of everything. We can zoom in, we can look around, but these cameras also can be equipped with facial recognition. It doesn't recognize it and pick out everybody, so people don't need to worry about that. We have to input the information. So if we're looking for John Doe on this crime here, we can input his photograph into this technology, and if it sees John Doe at the corner of Main and Wayne, it'll let us know that, hey, he's here and you need to go pick him up. The latest and the greatest is our flock system. We have license plate readers, cameras throughout the city at various locations, and that information comes from the NCIC computer, the nationwide database, where information is entered for warrant subjects, missing persons, people suspected in crimes. They put that information into this system here, and it's all based on the license plate and the vehicle. But this works for people who are trying to bring drugs into our community, and if they have a warrant from another jurisdiction, or if it's a stolen car coming to our community, it'll hit on that too. So our officers will respond to that, and we've had a lot of success stories as it involves that. And we've also had some very high-profile crimes here that Flock has helped us determine whether or not the suspect vehicle was in the area when that happened, and that's been very helpful in court.
You first became chief. I remember one of our first meetings, and the first thing you did, you came and you said, I'm gonna stop pinpoint policing. You remember that?
That's right, yeah.
So tell me, what is pinpoint policing and why were you so passionate about wanting to stop it?
So pinpoint policing, you take the calls out of the computer and you would determine what they call your hot spots, your high crime areas. And then you would take your resources and direct them to the high crime area to deal with these hot spots. Unfortunately, it worked better on paper than it did in reality. When we sent officers there and said, you stay here all day in this 4-block area, after about 30, 35, 40 minutes, there was nothing going on there. So now for 7 hours a day, I'm wasting resources. We went back to district patrols, precincts. We call them precincts, we call them district. And what we did was we split the city up into 6 areas, and we assigned officers to one area all the time. If I'm the officer and I'm going to be working out east, every time I come to work, I'm out east. I'm not going to this hot spot one day and that hot spot this day. I'm going out east. That's my area. And the thought behind it was that every time I come to work, I'm working in the same area. And because I am, the people get to know me. I get to know the people. I know what looks right. I know what looks wrong. I'm the one who responds to those calls. And once that kind of takes effect, I start taking ownership of my neighborhood.
Technology also plays a major role in how 911 calls are processed and officers are dispatched throughout the city. So we're going to head over to the dispatch center to learn more. What's a typical day like for a person working in this office?
I would say there is no typical day. It can vary. As you can see right now, I have one call on the screen and my phones aren't ringing. The other morning, when I was working by myself, they were ringing nonstop. Police department. One more. We say ring and the phone will ring.
And so you answer phones, you answer radio, take 911 calls as well?
Yes.
Okay. And so when you're taking a 911 call, tell us a little bit about what that's like.
I answer at 911, what's the address of your emergency, because the address is most important. You have to know where it's happening at in order to be able to send an officer or an ambulance. So if the phone would get disconnected, at least I know where to send them.
And with the use of cell phones, asking the location is probably more important than it used to be.
It's important to get the address from the caller because the mapping systems are not always 100% accurate. They'll get you in the area, but maybe not necessarily to the exact address.
Kim, tell us a little bit about what could be considered a surprise on your job to people who aren't familiar with what a communication officer does.
People may not realize that we do actually help save lives. If we get a person not breathing, we are the ones delivering instructions over the phone. So there will be somebody on the other end following the instructions we give to try to help save the life before the ambulance gets there.
Now we're going to head over to the Identification Bureau to learn more about some of the technology used to investigate crimes.
We mostly do crime scene investigations, so any felony crime scene where there's a shooting, a stabbing, or anything like that, we process the scene. This is our new fingerprint machine. Anybody that is brought in on criminal charges is fingerprinted and this is sent to the state electronically.
So you do fingerprinting for individuals that have been arrested. You also do fingerprinting for the courts. You do that as well?
Yes, this is an automatic fingerprint identification system. It's an automated computer where we put crime scene fingerprints, we scan it into the computer, then it puts it into the database and compares it to all known fingerprints from people who have been arrested and booked.
So how detailed does this machine get in helping to identify a person?
It's very detailed. We're latent print examiners. When we do a comparison, eye-to-eye comparison on the fingerprint versus the one we see at the scene, we can positively identify a suspect.
So we're out here in Baxter Park to showcase some of the technology and additional teams that make up the Lima Police Department.
This is a DJI controller that controls the drone that's up there about 138 feet right now. Our primary use for this would be a search and rescue. It'll show infrared visibility, so like all the spots you can see down here, those red dots, those are actually us that the drone is seeing. So when you get a nice cooler area like this, it helps us. You get a missing child, a missing elderly person with dementia, anything like that. Much faster way to find them. We can skip over large parts of areas that nothing is in and focus on the rescue.
And this is fairly a new tool to the police department, isn't it?
It is. We've just within the last year, Chief Cortez has implemented the drone unit and we are in the process of getting up and running.
So we normally use the dogs for narcotics,
apprehensions, and the big thing our K9 team does is like demos where we interact with the community and kind of see how they work and what they do for a daily basis.
Here, push!
It is one of the things I've always wanted to do, and then everybody that usually gets a dog it's something that they've looked forward to doing their whole entire career. So it's definitely a perk to be a part of this unit.
The K-9 and drone teams are not the only specialty teams at the Lima Police Department. We also have the Crisis Negotiation Team, SWAT Team, Dive Team, Bomb Squad, and the Bike Team. Each of these units consists of highly trained, specially equipped officers that are ready to use their skills to keep the Lima community safe, no matter what threats we may face. Now that you've gotten a sneak peek at our specialty teams, we're going to take an in-depth look at our patrol units as they police our city streets.
Mayor, I want to introduce you. I think you already know who this is, but this is Heather Buell. She's our patrol officer.
Hi, Officer Buell.
And you'll be riding along with her today, and I'm sure she's going to show you a lot of exciting and interesting things.
Awesome, thank you.
So have fun, be safe, and thank you, Heather.
All right, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Are you?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go. How long have I been a cop?
Yes.
I got hired August of 2021. Actually, I saw the news ad that came across the news, and I've always wanted to be a police officer. My very first day on my own, I went to a SWAT raid chasing after somebody in the snow that had a gun in his hand, and it's just like it hasn't stopped since.
Do you use the flock system?
Yes, I love the block system. So we have recovered more, we call them 61s, but they're stolen vehicles. We actually, so it's the internet. I'm always signed into it. Whenever it updates, it will ping, and they are within seconds. I mean, the flock system is amazing.
Clear, stand by. 680. Schizophrenic. He's currently high on 260. She believes he may have taken fentanyl. He's standing in the middle of the roadway yelling, trying to get his drugs back, which are also sitting in the roadway.
So what that means is that there appears to be a person who is obviously not in their right mind, whether it be mental, whether it be drug impairment. They said that they do see drugs, so that's probably going to be the culprit. 36. Enter.
I'm still seeing it. 1037.
So we obviously do not know
Negative.
the condition he's in. So with the unknown, we go in, make sure the scene's safe, assess it. If we need additional resources, we'll call out.
1039.
The only time that they'll call for an ambulance, which is a 30, is if the caller states that the person is already in some sort of condition where he's unable to take care of himself.
Lincoln to your 66.
59 on 510.
I want to talk about, but it's not even, I don't know. They just think I'm crazy. I don't want to go to same. That's why I said I don't want to sit out here and talk about it.
The reality of what our families need.
And the sad part is that they know us by name.
544 signal 2.
They know what to expect, which is good because they trust us with their family members. But there's just
1051.
So just explain a little bit what happened, why he came out in handcuffs. That is not always However, he is in impairment stage, so he's going to be taken to the station, and he'll be watched by our police department in a holding cell. And for intoxication, we can hold you up to 6 hours, depending on his level and how he acts. And then once he becomes sober, we can talk to him more and try to get him some additional help.
And that's all the work of a police officer. You all do that.
93, I'll be 77 at the hospital, ending is 20.
It's finding out what they need in that moment. He needed something. He was wanting people to listen to him. And so it de-escalated. We was able to get him calmed down. He got pants on. But then we made a decision after he denied care was to get him, he needed further evaluation. I grew up, we called it the Village, but it was down on 8th Street. I actually lived all over the city. I was the last class to go to Washington. That was right over here. So, and I walked, we lived right actually here on Harrison. I lived on Atlantic. So my family moved a lot. I grew up, my home was separated. My mom and my dad separated when I was 9. These kids, I identify with them as an officer and dealing with the kids. Not to just say, oh, I've been there, but I get that they're missing. Like, I feel like if somebody told me when I was 10 or 11 years old that I could grow up and be the police, or that I could grow up and be anything that I wanted, and they meant it and believed it, probably when it took me till I was 31 years old to become an officer. And I love it. People are like, it's been crazy. We see you guys always are running code, and, but when you can get front row tickets to help somebody every single day of your life, and you have no idea what that need's going to be, 1, you never get bored, but 2, you get to see the heart of the city at its finest.
So we have something in common. I actually grew up in the Villages too.
Did you?
I did.
Okay.
And a little bit of all over the city kind of too, because I had my families on both sides are extremely large, and my mom's family, they're a South Side family, and my dad's family is a West Side family. And so my early years, I grew up actually in Greenfield Heights, so that area there, and then my mom's sisters, 2 of them, and they were the babysitters, right? So I was always in the Village with my cousins. So you probably know some of them, but yeah, they right there on the corner of 6th and Reese.
When you can go to a call and you spent 20, 30 minutes and it's helping somebody see something, rationalize something, it's just like, this goes back to my roots, we help each other out, and I love the bond they're created, and it's one call at a time. One call at a time.
Wow. I don't have all the answers, I'm not a cop. I don't see what you all see. I'm not, a firefighter. I can't go fix a pipe.
Right.
All of those are important and necessary, and I feel like if we're not healthy as an organization, if we're not talking to each other, if we're not having those tough conversations, then how can we help the city?
Right.
From your perspective as a police officer, what are some things you think that we can do to change?
We need more people that can be in the front line. Nobody wants to be the police, They don't see the heart. But I can tell you show up to any roll call, you'll see it. Police officers aren't just people who get in their cruiser and go arrest people. You might have to be somebody's mom that day. You might have to be somebody's teacher, somebody's counselor, somebody's friend. If you are a human being, you can be a police officer. And yes, it does get rough, when we have to run in and look at it. It's like, you're gonna laugh, but it's like really being Batman. You might have to be all these things, but there's more reward. And so if you want to feel like you have a purpose in a place, become a police officer.
And why be a police officer in Lima?
Because Lima still has life, and Lima has a need. And if you want to be a part of something great, be a police officer in Lima.
Love it.
Because Lima's coming back.
Yeah.
There is a big revival happening. There's a big change. We just need the people.
Safe and livable neighborhoods is a key priority through the use of innovative technology, growing our specialty teams, and making historic financial investments in our police force. We are working to improve safety together. But we need more dedicated and passionate individuals to join our team at the Lima Police Department. Visit limaohio.gov to learn more about how you can build a career protecting our community.